Thank you very much for your question. I'm very pleased to be here with two hats, both as the president of Federalimentare, i.e. the federation of all the food and beverages companies in Italy. This is an industry that includes a lot of SMEs, 54,000 companies with a few large ones and many more SMEs. Such companies are used to consider Russia as a most important market, which is totally unreplaceable. Such companies have been very negatively hit by the drop in export to Russia that brought about a reduction by 37% in terms of imports to export towards Russia. I'm also here with a second hat. I am the CEO of a company, the Cremonini Group, and my company has been present in Russia for over 30 years. We also have relocated into Russia with some 1,000 staff. So the question is, can we bring about a synergy? Can we actually combine the food and agricultural industry in Italy and the food and agricultural industry in Russia? Well, we can do so. There's a perfect synergy between our two industries, and we can certainly cooperate. And we're stating as much at the end of Expo. At the Expo, there was a big challenge. The big challenge of Expo was to feeding the world. And as President Bazzoli was saying, to do so in a sustainable manner, that is not to the detriment of the environment, not with a negative consequence to the environment. Well, I believe that the synergy between Italy and Russia will bring about the best way to take up this challenge, to feed the world in a sustainable manner. Well, Russia has all what Italy lacks. In Russia, there are 130 million hectares of fertile and arable land, with a yearly harvest of million of cereals. So they produce commodity what usually Italy imports. The oil of the future, as the president was saying, the oil of the future is going to be depleted. Oil consumption are reduced, but the oil of the future is land, and land is going to be the most important wealth in the future. And in Russia, they have a main support from the government to support the agricultural business. And Russian government is promoting the production in Russia and the development of self-sufficiency with reference to certain products. Well, Russia is wide and has decided for GMO-free agriculture. They don't use GMOs, but they have set in place one of the most advanced research centers, because should it emerge in the near future that GMOs could be used, they are ready to act. On the other hand, there's Italy. Italy has all what Russia lacks. In Italy, there's a pipeline of fertilizer manufacturers, agricultural equipment manufacturers with produce that are most efficient. Indeed, the yield of 1 hectare in the Po Valley is one of the highest worldwide. And in Italy, we also have the technology that of reducing the impact on the environment so as to have the best of sustainability. So the two systems are perfectly integrated. There's also the backbone of SMEs in Italy that is of fundamental importance. But let me say that also the other side of the coin. So when producing commodities, the Italian model can bring about the best of the Russian potential. And Russian consumers are very exacting. They've always been looking for quality, and they've found quality in fashion, in the furniture, in the food products coming from Italy. So I believe that we cannot disappoint the Russian consumers. Certainly they won't be happy with a mozzarella developed in China or with the bresaola made in Russia. They are very exacting. They want the top quality products. Russia certainly can develop the best synergies with Italy so as to produce agricultural commodities, proteins with an added value. And there are certain excellencies when it comes to agricultural produce, that there are products that can only be produced in Italy, and they have to be kept in change. Such products have to be made in Italy and to be exported to Russia. These subjects have been tackled in the technical committee that was set up between the Italian and the Russian agricultural ministers. At that meeting, we committed to incentivize the investments of the Italian companies in Russia, Ferrero, Barilla, Cremonini, Parmalat. So the top food manufacturers are already present in Russia. And the Russian government should also protect Italian producer from the Italian-sounding products that is a teaser for Russian producers, for Russian consumers. Ever since the 80s, Italy has been the top exporter of meat and poultry, and we decided that we had to invest locally in Russia. They have developed a lot of refrigerated stores in Moscow, St. Petersburg, Rostov, Ekaterinburg, whereby to distribute 2,500 products to over 3,000 restaurants on top of the retail networks. So that was a network to be used to transfer the many products that could not be delivered by the individual Italian manufacturers to Russia, and other products are manufactured locally. The next step was that of investing directly in Russia. As a matter of fact, a major plant was developed to produce over 40,000 hamburgers to be developed in Burger King, McDonald's in Russia, using the local raw material when possible, and imported raw material when that wasn't possible, so as to come up also with the butchering plants, because the production of animal protein is ever more going to be located in Russia. Excellences such as the Po Parmesan, the Romagna, the Emilia Parmesan are going to stay in Italy to be exported to Russia, but when it comes to proteins such as poultry and pork, that is going to be done in Russia. As a matter of fact, Russia is going to be a top manufacturer and food producers to export worldwide, and the Italian industry can be of great help. I'd like to go back to the present day situation. There's no point in denying that the situation was and will be for quite some time difficult. We heard about the devaluation of the ruble. We've heard about the reduced power of purchase of the Russian citizens, but it would be very long, and I'm sitting as much with my hat as an Italian manufacturer, and we're also importer of Italian products in Russia, so it would be very wrong to abandon.
Rilanciare, questo è il momento.
Now, this is the time actually to invest again into an asset, buying up land. There's a critical situation, but whenever there's a crisis, there's an opportunity. So we have to stay there and invest more, so as not to be replaced by somebody replacing us and imitating our products. At the beginning of June, I had the honor to be invited at the meeting that was held at the Expo between President Putin and the Italian Prime Minister. And President Putin, before many other representative of the industries, transport and energy sectors included, and President Putin said if Italy is not going to change attitude, we're going to address Asia to find products when it comes to energy. As for food, well, Italy is a leader, but for other industries, we are going to look at Asia. So a new slogan was launched, not just made in Italy, but made with Italy. Well, the two things are not alternatives, in that Italian products are not going to be made in Russia, but we can contribute to the enhancement of the huge potential that Russian agriculture has with our investments, leaving the excellencies in Italy the chance to penetrate that market as being delivered from Italy. Mr. Pablo de Castro has an important role within the European Parliament. He indeed is the one that represents the European Parliament in the talks with the US government in the TTP framework, and I believe that he was really provocative when he said that if it is true that the world is heading towards the Trans-Pacific Treaty that was entered into by the US with Asia, on the other hand there's the TTIP that is going to be signed by Europe and the US, and for the first time he mentioned the possibility to start a TAP partnership between Italy and Russia, Italy and Asia, or Europe rather, and Asia, because despite the pressures to stop our integration, I believe that the European economy and the Russian economy are bound to get even more integrated. Thank you.